Well, with that being said, why don't we jump into our favorite segment? All right, welcome to our Galactic Gazette. This is our news and spoiler segment. We've got a lot for you today. Some interesting, some just we're going to breeze through. The biggest thing that we have to announce is that the new token sets, which is hilarious because people have been doing this crap on Etsy since day one. But if you would like official, they're reprinting the premium token sets for you, so that you can actually have some of the original tokens that came out with the game back last year. I guess it's already last year in March now.
Yep.
It's just crazy. So they're reprinting them for you. They look really cool. You get 55 tokens. They're now double-sided, right?
Yeah. I was about to say they learned from the aforementioned Etsy creators.
Yep.
Double-sided the damage tokens. So you got 12, 1 and 3 damage and 6, 5 and 10 damage.
Which I probably will just pick up another set so I have it. I don't know though. Like I don't really. I have like 3 sets of tokens. Do I really need a 4th? Probably not. I will say I do like the double-sided thing because a lot of the guys at my locals have those metal fab tokens that are the double-sided, and those are really cool. I just couldn't afford the $100 price tag for them. I was like, I don't know about that. But they look amazing.
Yeah, Knuckles from Crowpaw, he has his acrylic tokens are now like double-sided like that. It's got the 1, the 3, the 5, the 7, 10, and 15. And that's very useful when you're just like, I'm going to kill this thing, flip my 1 into a 3, because a lot of things just have to attack in the beginning, right? So it is really convenient just being able to flip them instead of digging something else out.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of like that. I do think that was a good ad on their half. They also are creating a new premium token set for Twin Suns. I'm going ahead and buying this one. This one I am buying. I don't actually have Twin Sun tokens right now, so I don't have the plan or blast counters. They're also creating a new Sentinel token, which I kind of really like those. Those look really cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I mean, they have like the purple reminder ones, right? But like, it makes so much more sense just to have a dedicated Sentinel token.
Yep. So I like that. I'm picking. It's only $20, so I'm gonna get one of those. Just essentially, it's the same price as if I were to buy. If they hadn't released it, especially if Twin Suns was going to become a format that we got to play at cons a lot, I was going to pick up my own set of tokens anyway. This one just whatever. This I'll support FFG in an effort to ensure that hopefully the game stays around. So it's really cool. I like that idea. I think that's nice that they're actually supporting Twin Suns again. Which leads me to the next thing. They now have Twin Suns soft crates for you.
Yeah.
I don't know why you want a soft crate Twin Suns, but you could get it. It holds up to 100 sleeve cards.
It's $13. And the first point they bring up is that it's budget friendly. So that would be why.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they got some cool designs. Like their soft crate designs are usually pretty cool.
Yeah. And they are nice. It is nice that they're giving you that option, right? You know, I'll tell you what, like just having that to be able to have that in there for your fancy tokens and some of the other things, like is probably a benefit anyway. It gives you a divider too, which is hilarious. Which, you know, what that means is I could probably just carry 2 decks in there. Like that would just solve like some of my problems.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess if you're trying to just do, because it's 100 cards, it has the 2 little cases for both your leaders. You could, just split it. But yeah, it's $13 is significantly cheaper than $45, which is the other Twin Suns box that we're going to get to. So
yeah,
I can afford this one on my government unemployment check.
Yeah. This one is the new Twin Suns Revolutionary Pod, or whatever. It's not revolutionary, but they call it revolutionary. But this way, it's $45, but it's got basically 2 sides, one for the leader on each side. I will just tell you, like, I went ahead and ordered one of these just for the pure fact of I sometimes will run. So, for example, I used to have Jabba Red and Pelp Red, and they shared 30 cards of each of the decks. And this now allows me to hold both their decks in the same set of sleeves, and I now have both decks I can play anytime I go anywhere. So,
and it's designed to hold 100 double sleeved cards, which are thick. So if you have single sleeve cards like I usually do, you can probably just put 2 full decks in there because you
Yes.
should be able to hold the extra 10 cards or whatever with the space you're saving by not double sleeving everything. So that's really cool. I wonder if that, I mean, the base, I'm sure you can just tuck 2 in there, right? Like, I think it's only got 1 spot for a base, but whatever.
Yep, you just tuck 2 in there. I wouldn't. Yeah,
When their base is like whatever.
Yeah, and you can put both of them in the same sleeve if you want. Just unsleeve the one you don't use. I don't know. I like it. I actually ordered one of those just because I want to try it out and see if it's better. What sucks is if it is really that much better, I feel like I have to sell my other ones so I can get more of these instead. But we'll see. I just like the fact that you could put the 2 liters in there, and I build like right now built decks. I have 7. I have 7 built decks right now. So, like this would be handy because a lot of times I will, like, for a while I was running Kira and Hondo, and they're both green blue. They both share quite a few cards as well, and it would be nice to be able to put that just together because sometimes I go to locals and I don't want to play Kira. I just want to play like a fun deck, and I like Hondo. Hondo's my fun deck of choice outside of Hunter. I have been enjoying Hunter double green, and I probably shouldn't, and it probably shouldn't do as well as it does, but it does. Like, I've had decent success with it, like as a for fun deck, Anyway,
if these can actually like hold 2 single sleeve decks, it's gonna be hard for me to justify bringing like the double deck thing that's really wide when I can just like hold this one up in like a coat pocket. So
Yeah.
we'll see. It's $45 I don't have, but it's kind of cool. I mean, it's really cool, but like money.
Yeah. The other thing they decided to do is throw in some specific hyperspace foil cards with unique artwork on it that you can't get anywhere else. So screw you, FFG. Thank you. I do not want to have to buy one of every color just to get that stupid card.
So like
they asked what ones we wanted. I said I want the blue. I really want that blue one. I want that Dagobah Swamp, and I know that's like the inside joke. People who run blue decks always run Dagobah Swamp, but that actually looks cool. So
yeah, it's reprints, kind of, from set 1. So it has like the 4 like I don't know, more iconic, I guess, colors. So it's like a different artwork for Dagobah Swamp, Echo Base, Jabba's Palace, and the Catacombs of Kadera. And then for the black and the white box, they give you a shield and an experience token, and those look really cool too. They're just like slightly different than the ones, but like that shield on the B-Wing looks so much nicer. The experience is cool because it's Luke upside down or whatever training, but man, that shield on that B-Wing.
Yeah.
And we're finally getting B-Wing. Spoilers, I guess, but like
Yeah,
it's been a while. Like I was shocked it took us 4 sets to get a B-Wing.
Yeah, that is very exciting. So here's just kind of the more up close and personal pictures. Again, the Dagobah Swamp, I really want that one out of all of them. I will say the B-Wing does look nice too. But like the problem is you're gonna want that, and then like how many boxes are you gonna buy to get that card, right? Like I need like 6 of these, and I'm never gonna like I don't know. I don't know. The other thing, go ahead.
They are really gorgeous. No, I'm just like they are really gorgeous.
Yeah. The other thing they decided to come up with was damage counter pads, and it's hilarious because they had to do a clarification the day afterwards, because technically you have to count. You're not supposed to hide your damage base total health, and you also have to count a certain way. So they like explained how you can do this legally by flipping your card around. I was like,
yeah, like turn it upside down so your opponent sees that it's a 30 health base and you're 30 target, but you still have to count up. I think they dropped the ball on this product, honestly. For $15, you're getting an L-shaped wedge that you just clip on, or you shove a base in there, and you're just like, I hide my base total. I have no way of marking that I've done my own epic action on my base. That's what kills me.
Yeah, it's definitely in my opinion, I agree, it's a very poor design. I am not planning on getting any of those, other than maybe I'll get it for stream, because if it looks good on stream, I might get them just so they look good on stream. But if they don't look good on stream, I'm not. No way in hell am I going to spend that kind of money.
Yeah, I mean, like the numbers are clear and like it's a cool idea and concept. They could have put the number in the other corner.
Yeah,
or like again, not having a thing to mark that you use this epic action. I mean, I get they have like the little X tokens and their official product tokens and stuff, but like it'd be really cool if you could just like, I don't know, flip a button and it's like, have I used my epic action? Yes, no, or like slide a little thing out there or something that says I used it. I don't know. Eh.
Yeah. You
That
want
was
to
the
know
one dud.
the funny thing though? It says count 0 to 49 to future proof. So obviously we have war health bases coming that they haven't released, but now this is telling us we definitely could have up to a 40 health base. So easily. Or
Not 50
45.
though.
Not 50, but probably 45. Between 40 and 45. I was like, okay. And I will laugh if FG in a year releases a 50 health base and it just makes these invalid.
Maybe they'll make a better, good damage pad this time.
Then the next thing that they released was basically slip case ring binder 24 pocket. They're $70, so if you would like to do that, more power to you. Not on my, I don't know. A 24 pocket just seems, I don't know. This seems
Not a lot.
this seems like a rich person's thing that maybe doesn't own everything in the game. Like,
It's a little bit hard to justify $70 for 3 binders.
Yeah, like I have 6 binders at home, and 4 of them are filled, and one of them has extras, and that cost me less than $70 total. So
I'm sure it costs you less than like $40 total because binders are usually incredibly cheap.
well, I have nice leather zip up ones.
Ooh, fancy! I got some white Office Max ones that I stole from work.
That's what I kept my Destiny in. So if I ever take my Destiny out, I actually will have even more binders. So I'm waiting to see what they do for rotation. That's and what happens in rotation, because that will make a huge difference for me, and that actually will justify. For me, that justifies what I spend going forward, in terms of collectability and things like that, because I'm not going to spend like $800 a set 3 times a year to have it like be rotated out in 1 year. Like I'm not going to do that. Like we'll be at what 6 sets this
at the end of next year.
Yeah, so
or this time next year or whatever.
Yeah, so like we'll see. I'm not super worried about it. Like a lot of times you don't use half the cards anyway, so do they have to be in a binder? Could they just go in a box? I don't know. So this is just a screenshot. It has a couple of the different mats. They have a new Twin Suns mat coming out, which I think we covered the other week. There's also a fun Boba Slave 1 mat in there, and I'm guessing that's an FN mat as well. And then in the soft crates, there's definitely a Phasma in there. So I don't care what anyone says, that looks like Phasma to me in that crate.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely looks not white in terms of armor. It looks shiny. And it would make sense, right? Like not having Captain Phasma, yeah, it's kind of weird. And I think the way back mat that is either like that Scarif thing or like maybe like Black One kind of thing. Not exactly sure in the back. Can't really see the engines of the ships.
No. I think you're right. I do wonder if it's a Scarif battle, but I'm sure we'll see more of that. They'll release more of that here in the next month. So, well, let's move on to the leaders. I'll tell you what. Instead of going in the order I picked, Alex, what is your favorite leader that you want to cover tonight?
Well, I know which one you want to cover.
Well, doesn't matter if that's your favorite. Cover it.
I don't. I'm going to go with one that I don't think you like at all. So they're doing Lando.
Yeah.
He's a blue hero. He's a rebel official pilot. He deploys on 7. And as an action, spend 1 resource, exhaust it. Play a unit from your hand, paying its cost, which is everything in this game.
Mm-hmm.
But paying the cost. If you do, and you control a ground unit and a space unit, give a shield token to a unit. Doesn't have to be the one you played. He deploys at 7 again. He's a 5/7 Sentinel. Or if you deploy him as a pilot, the attached unit is a leader unit, like all that we've seen so far. It gains Sentinel and +5/+5. And when you deploy it as an upgrade, you can give a shield token to a unit in a different arena. And that's what he does. I believe you think he's pretty lame.
I don't think he's very good. I will say the Sentinel piece, like when he does come out as a Sentinel, like that's the OB stats, right? So he's got one more power if he comes on the ground. I think as a leader, he's a better leader than some of the like the Han that we've seen. Not saying the Han we've seen is bad, but like this gives you something in both ground and space, and that part I like. But he comes out on 7, and I don't know. Do I really want to pay one? I mean, I guess that's like Luke, except for the difference between this and Luke is this is like Luke's leader side, but you have to pay the cost for it because you can give the shield to anybody. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like Luke, you have to give it to a hero unit that you played this turn. Lando, you just have to have one in
Each
both
space.
arenas.
Yeah.
But like, when you play it, like if you have first turn Battlefield Marine or whatever, right? Next turn, if you play like an Arc, you can give a shield to either the Arc or the Battlefield Marine, which that flexibility is really, really nice. And especially in blue where they have a lot of Sentinels, like just giving shields to Sentinels is incredibly annoying. And the 5/5 stat line for and giving a unit of Sentinels really big. And that's like a really annoying thing to do. The only problem is that he does come out on 7, I think.
Yeah, that's my bigger thing. Like, it feels like this wants to be a mid-range / aggro, like tempo deck. Maybe not quite aggro, but like a tempo deck. Like an aggro deck is going to always have tons of units, and like that would make sense if he came out like on a lower cost, but he doesn't. Like, so
he seems more like a control leader to me, right? Because you want to just slow the game down by giving your Sentinel units shields and stuff, right?
Sure, but we've seen how well Chewie and Grievous have done as control leaders in the meta, and I don't think I've seen Chewie even make a top 8 in a PQ at all.
Chewie only gives Sentinels the 3 cost or less units. Like that goes right out the door halfway through the game.
Sure, but then he's the same way he comes out of the Senate. I don't know. I don't know. I don't.
A lot of people are poo-pooing him. I think he's fine. I think it really kind of depends on what other like Sentinels or how easy it is to play units in both arenas. But I think he's kind of an interesting option for blue.
Yeah, I still like Obi better, and I don't know. I will say when his leader comes out, like I still think his leader is pretty damn good. Like when he comes out, he's a Sentinel no matter what, and he's either a 5/5 or a 5/7. Period. No matter what. So you put him on a Concord Don. Can you imagine him riding around in a Concord Don? Right? Say
yeah, turn into a 6/9 that attacks for 8 back when you run your Avenger into it or whatever.
Yeah. So like that seems really good. And maybe it is pivotal. Like, I'm not saying he is an aggro deck. I was just saying, like, his ability feels like it could go into
sure if you're like
more
flooding the
aggro.
board. Yeah, his ability to let you to the trigger off. It's just kind of interesting, like with leaders that play like slightly under the curve, right? Like Luke or like Fennec, Vader, where they're like, yeah, you pay the extra resource to give a benefit to whatever you just played.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still kind of wonky, but like, I don't know. If he was like a 4/6 that gave like +4/+4 and it was a 6 cost, I think he'd be a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
With all the Sentinel stuff, but I feel like the game might slow down a little bit more. With just like the cards that we've been showing off and like requiring vehicles for your put pilots into and all that kind of stuff. So maybe you'll have a little bit of niche because the closest you have to control in Hero is like, blue, and it's like somewhere it's either like Yoda or Rey, and that's kind of weird. So Lando might help just with the survivability of your units.
True.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, there's also indirect damage, right? So we'll see.
Yeah. I think the indirect damage, the more cards we find out about, that's the bigger issue. But maybe we're getting like a higher health base that he works with, right? Like maybe that's like the key to some of these like higher costs. Like let's say you have a 40 health base, right? And even if it has somewhat of a negative impact or something like that, that says maybe do all indirect damage to your base or something. But like if he had a little bit higher health base too, the seven resource might not be as big of a deal because you're going to force that game between your Sentinels and that to go later. I would not run him as a double blue right now though, unless we get some amazing double blue stuff. But I would probably definitely entertain him. I I like him a lot. With some well, green is the natural color, but red feels like it could be like that. I'm gonna splash around as a sentinel, and then I'm just gonna wipe your board and win the next turn. Like that's what it kind of feels like.
I mean, he is also a rebel, so you have the rebel synergy.
Going,
if you're running things like fleet lieutenants and wing leaders and stuff, can you imagine like wing leadering whatever Lando's on, or just him himself? That's really frustrating.
yeah. Until I bamboozle you, and then you just cry a little bit
So
inside.
I'm glad we have counters, or else this game would be terrible. But no, like I think he's interesting, and there's another card that he's kind of made to go with, which seems really kind of crazy if you do both in combination. But we'll get to that.
Yeah. All right, the leader I'm picking is Admiral Piett. Yes, I've already started building decks for him. Yes, I'm very excited for Admiral Piett. It is partially because I like villain, I think, more than I like hero, it seems, even though I have been playing hero more. Give me a little bit of credit there. I've been playing a little bit more hero, but his ability is for an action, play a capital ship from your hand and it costs 1 less. So that really crappy capital ship that's like, what is it?
The 3/5 that gives your opponent an extra resource when they kill it.
Yep, the bounty, like you can play that on 1 cheaper now, baby.
You can play on the first turn.
Yep,
and it's a 3/5 spaceship.
Yep. So like his ability, I like the fact that it forces you to take an action. It's not an automatic type thing, but basically your action is that. And I'm happy that you have to exhaust it because I cannot imagine. Could you imagine if you play 2 capital ships cheaper? Because when he flips, every capital ship now costs 2 less. So now all of a sudden you just play ship for cheap. It's like the whole like Fennec ambush thing. Like if you don't kill Piett right away, like I think you're in deep doo doo if I can pull all these capital ships out. Thank God we have all smuggle ones.
Now imagine if you have Piett and also Piett, the unit that ambushes anything that costs 6 or more.
Mm-hmm.
So then you can start dropping like ruthless raiders and having them ambush and do stuff.
Yeah,
for cheaper.
Yep, I can literally you can play Piett, then flip your leader and play ruthless leader in the same turn.
Yep,
it's disgusting. And if they have a sentinel that your Lando just happens to be on for whatever reason, I guess you wouldn't wait that long to flip them. But I don't know. You might wait. Like I wait with Kira. Typically, I use Kira as like to get rid of a bigger unit or their leader. Period. Like I don't use Kira as leader fodder as much. Piett feels the same way. Like I think if you get 2 capital ships off for two or less, like that makes the whole day. Like he's a 2/7, so he's hard to kill as it is. You don't ever have to swing with him if you don't want to. Just entrench him. That's they throw entrench on, like whatever. I don't know. You're gonna do indirect damage. I'm just gonna do it to my, Admiral Piett. Thanks. I don't know. Some of it has to do with a couple of the cards we're gonna talk about in a minute, but like the fact that I now have a leader that is essentially this, to me, this is the idea of a commander, right? And this is what, when I talked about Thrawn before, this is what I wanted Thrawn to be, something similar to this. I hope we get another Thrawn. I really hope we get another Thrawn. And actually, maybe that's what we'll do is leader predictions next week. We haven't done that yet. I don't know.
No, we haven't. And a lot of the ones I was predicting already showed up.
Yeah. Maybe we should do that tonight instead. Maybe we should scrap everything else and just do leader predictions tonight. And maybe we'll do that. We could go back and change this. Anyway, let's keep moving because I don't want to be here all night. I am very excited for Admiral Piett. I don't know if you're excited or not. I don't think he's like the end all be all, the best pilot, but I feel there's a lot of potential here. Just opening out of the gate. And he is rare, thank God, so that he's not going to show up in draft and sealed as much as like you would like. It's not going to always be there. Thank God.
You would also need the other capital ships, which tend to be higher rarity or more expensive. There's a couple interesting things with him. It's like he does technically, like he negates the aspect penalty if you wanted to drop like a home 1, right? You still drop it for 8. You're not going to get home 1's ability off ever, presumably, unless you're playing.
Hold on a second.
I don't even know like other hero units in your deck, which just is wrong. But you can play a home 1 for 8, which is interesting. But also there's the Arquintus, that assault cruiser, that 8 cost ambush that like eats the opponent's ship and puts into resource, and you can play that at 6, which seems very strong if you're trying to ramp up into other things.
Or how about the Gladiator?
Yeah,
The Gladiator
for 4.
Yep, comes out and it gives whatever you want Sentinel.
Yep,
every like
itself.
Just boom, like Merry Christmas. So I got hyperspace foils of that card. I'm so excited to be able to play that card.
Yeah, I mean, initial thoughts is just like, cool. I could play like a red green capital ship deck, which with the Raiders, the Gladiators, the Arquintas, the Devastators, Relentless, and everything else.
Finalizer,
Devastators. Do you still want to play it?
I'm gonna play Finalizer, baby. Yeah, I got a hyperspace foil of that card. I'm playing it.
Yeah, your Admiral Piett lived to 9 resources, and I'm playing this Finalizer. I don't care if I have no board. I don't want it to capture anything. It's an 11/11. Damn it.
That'll be good for something.
I mean, I just playing a Relentless, right? If he lives 2 turns, you can play a Relentless at 7, which is very good. Stops the Super Laser Blast until they start playing other things.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about him too. He is Imperial as well, so you get the Imperial synergy. He's an official, so you get official synergy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like, this is good. Like, this to me, without even seeing any other cards, like, I'm already excited about this guy.
There's also, have you considered a triple Dark Raid deck? Because if you flip him, your capital ships cost 2 less, in addition to the 3 cost less from triple Dark Raid, or 5 cost less, right?
Yep. You play Devastator.
Yeah, you can just play Devastator off triple Dark Raid, right?
Like, don't tell
at 5 resources, right?
Yes.
So, bunch of cool stuff you can do if you're trying to do like another triple Dark Raid kind of thing.
Yeah, I have a triple Dark Raid deck that I've started, and I also have a red one that I've started. Those are the 2 that I've been playing around with. I do think blue is going to be viable. Honestly, sure. I really think blue is probably going to be the better color, but that yellow, that triple Dark Raid, gives me the ability to like spam out crazy ships. Like it's going to feel like, I can't test it yet because I don't have enough ships in there to test it with, but it feels like even just being able to play a Ruthless Raider with triple Dark Raid, even and him sitting out there is still good, even off color. Like, I don't know. It's
play the home one, do it. No one's ever played home one off triple Dark Raid to my knowledge.
All right. I'll play. What's the other one? Oh, do we want Redemption in there too? Should we add Redemption?
Yeah, not in the triple Dark. Regardless, next leader.
Yeah, I could. Literally, we could do a whole episode just on.
I know. I'm excited for him.
That's how we will do that. Once after next week, maybe the week after, we'll do a full segment just on Admiral Piett. Tanner, Alex building Admiral Piett for you.
Yeah. Alex and Tanner building Admiral Piett with a quarter. They're like,
hell yeah,
like 10 of the cards released on the set.
I don't care. By another week we'll have more. But tell us about Akbar. We got Akbar.
Yeah. So we have Admiral Akbar, which is it looks like a movie still that they just applied a filter to.
Yeah,
it's really rough. But Admiral Akbar, he's a yellow hero leader. He's a rebel official, so you still get the rebel synergy, all that kind of stuff. As an action, you can spend a resource, exhaust him, and exhaust a non-leader unit. If you do, its controller creates an X-Wing token. Really nice if you have already used his ability beforehand and you're just exhausting your own X-Wing to continue spawning X-Wings 2/2s for 1 cost.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a slightly better Rex. But also, you can exhaust your opponent, his stuff. They got an Avenger out, you just exhaust him, and here's an X-Wing token for compensation.
Yeah.
On the flip side, he comes out at 6. He's a 3/8. A lot of health. On attack, you may exhaust a unit. If you do, the controller creates an X-Wing token. Same ability. Sometimes you just need those in the game. And go on.
I was gonna say, I actually think that, because it's 1 cost for a 2/2. This is better than Rex. Rex is like 2 costs for a 2/2. I like this. I actually think he's pretty good.
There are some cards that we'll go through later, which make him a lot better than he initially sounds, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, he seems fine. Like, don't get me wrong, like, token generation will eventually probably be solid.
Yeah, I think the ability to pay 1 to exhaust any unit without having to have a unit on the board is pretty good. Like, yeah, you do have the downside of the. I do get it. You do get a downside of that, but I mean, we do have a card called Clear the Fields.
Yep.
I mean,
aspect.
I don't.
Yeah, if he wasn't yellow, this card would be a lot worse. But because he's yellow, you end up getting the stuff that's like good at bouncing, good at exhausting. Like it fits right in, which is good game design. But he might just be really annoying to go against.
He will be. This is the Jar Jar Binks deck of the set. That's what I would say. And the best part about this, is the best part about this is you could get the little soundbite on your phone that says it's a trap, and then you can literally play it every time you exhaust him, and you would annoy the piss out of absolutely everybody. It's like when we play Thrawn, right? We play Thrawn. You don't play Thrawn. I play Thrawn, and you get to exhaust somebody by looking at their cards, and they have to stop everything they're doing. It disrupts their focus to deal with what you want them to do, and that's what this is going to be. So. And the best is going to be you're like, hey, you have to create an X-Wing token. Oh, you didn't bring one? Oh, well, you're supposed to bring them. So are you going to have to give your opponent an X-Wing token? I don't know.
I have Jesse in my Fennec deck, and I always carry around 4 battle droids for that reason.
Yeah, which makes sense, right? Fennec. I love Fennec. All right, let's move on.
Fennec and Jesse is hilarious because you could just ambush your own droid that you gave them if there's nothing on the field.
Yep. Just bring it back.
So. Yes, let's go on to the next set, I guess. It's your choice of cards unless you want to go in order.
No, I'm just going to pick Devastator because that's the easy choice. It's a
Fair enough.
It's a 9/6/8 cost red villain, hunting the rebellion. I like the artwork on it, so I will say that's going to look amazing in a hyperspace foil. It is our first legendary that we have this week, and it is an Imperial vehicle capital ship. You assign all indirect damage you deal to opponents, so you can just screw you. And when played, you deal 4 indirect damage to each opponent. So it's designed for Twin Suns, but is going to be super good with Piett when Piett's able to play this, for 6 resources. Yep, thank you.
Or just any triple dark raid where it just comes in and just hits for 13 in the base.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, isn't that crazy? That's just this. That's why I don't know why you think we're gonna have longer games. I think we're gonna have shorter games. This is gonna be round 4. You we'll all just be here's my capital ship. We're done. Anyway, this ship's amazing. I love this ship so much already. I will be happy to collect me a set of a play set of these. And I will this, not to go back to Red Palpatine, but if Red Palpatine may get a little bit better because of this, this is pretty good in Red Palpatine. So
it probably it's a tough call if I want to replace the other Devastator with it, but
but it fits very well. This is almost like a Palpatine, right? It comes out the same cost Palpatine comes out at. And it's a 9/6 in space, and it deals 4 direct damage, so it's 2 damage short. But then you get, if they don't kill it, you get all indirect damage that you assign everywhere else. So
seems really nasty in a Django deck, which is also the same color.
Stop it. Or a Boba, or the new Boba Fett deck.
That's what I meant. Not Django Boba.
Yeah, the new Boba.
Although, Fett. if you wanted to assign the direct damage, you could assign it to whatever you want in the Django deck.
Yeah,
but yeah, the Boba where you're just I'm just going to do all these.
Yeah, let me triple dark raid this in my Boba deck and then flip my Boba.
Yeah,
that sounds great. Yeah, here's, I don't know what is that that, so that you get the 9 damage plus 4 plus another 4, so that's 17 damage.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah,
17 damage on a Boba flip turn sounds familiar.
it does. So anyway, what's the next card, Alec?
I'll choose. It's a trap. I may or may not have already sent this in to create a board with the artwork because I find it really goofy and stupid. But they're also going to come out with cards that have that as the sleeve. So I'm going to run that and that in Akbar. So I'm all in on Akbar right now, I guess. So yeah, it's a 3-cost yellow hero. It's a trap. It's a gambit. So unfortunately, I don't think there's anything that interacts with it yet. It is a rare. If an opponent controls more space units than you, ready each space unit you control. Really good if you just keep giving them X-Wings yourself.
Yeah, I know. Like, oh, let me bring out my B-wing or whatever, my Falcon. How about that? Like,
Yeah, it'd be cool if I can just continue running all these like crazy capital ships because you just have a fleet of X-wings that you have because you're a villain.
yep, for all
So
the
I
ones.
think it works very specifically in Akbar, I'm sure. It might be more of a meta thing or something for other decks down the line. It really depends on how prevalent space units are, and then also how useful it is for you to ready your own units. So we'll see. But yeah, an Bar seems like a pretty solid card, given what we know now.
Yeah, I like it. I think that's a good card. Actually, just I think just in general, I think it's a pretty good card for hero, especially ones that aren't spammy. Like Han, ironically enough. The next one is Blade Squadron B-Wing. So this is not the blue squadrons, by the way, which I'm hoping we have coming as well. But this is a Blade Squadron B-Wing. It's got like the old colors. This is like the old Rebel color. It's like from
This is like episode 6.
yeah. This is the cool looking B-Wing that you're like, oh, what happened to this B-Wing? And then you find out B-Wings suck in battle and they just die.
Well, they're bombers, kind of. They're supposed to be like heavy support vehicles, right? But like it's also a space battle, so it doesn't work as well as like the
Yeah.
analog would be. But go on.
Yeah. Hopefully we get a Hera B-Wing. Oh man. All right, let's keep moving because I'm going to tangent. It is a Rebel vehicle fighter, so it's another Rebel card, by the way. And it is a 3/3/3. When played, if another player controls 3 or more exhausted units, give a shield token to a unit. While I would normally say that's not really that good, this will be very good with Akbar. And it's a Rebel, so it immediately like this. This is one cost more than an A-wing, right? But in a Rebel vehicle, like if you want this in your Sabine deck, right? Like this would probably be pretty good in a Sabine deck. Um, because you sometimes want that bigger, chunkier, more hefty thing than an A-wing out there. And this you attack this, it kills whatever it attacks back, mostly. Right?
Don't forget that outmaneuver is a card as well, where you just
Yeah.
exhaust an entire arena.
Yep, outmaneuver. Yep, you're right. I used it in my Throne deck. Yep, you can just outmaneuver, and then there you go. Now you get a free shield. So, I actually like this card quite a bit, and like I'm excited to play Rebels now in draft. Because partially because of this card. Like I think this is a really good.
I mean, it seems
For what it is.
solid enough for like a common card, right? Like it's just a 3/3 for 3 in space, which who knows if that's going to scale anymore for these kinds of things, but it's solid. But the Rebels energy is the big part about that.
Yeah. All right, the next set I'm going to take Independent Smuggler. And part of it's because of the artwork is just stupidly hilarious. This is like Jar Jar artwork right here. And partially because like the discussion of like what like this guy is a 1 cost 1/1 with raid 1. So when he attacks, like you can ambush him out and he's a 2/1. I don't know why you would do that, but you could. But he's now also able to be played as a pilot for 1 cost on a yellow vehicle, right? And the attached unit gains raid 1 and it's a +1/+1. So this is actually like we have I'll pick on the it's a cartel. It's not cartel spacer is good, but what's the turncoat? What's the turncoat?
The cartel turncoat.
Thank you.
The
That's
2/3 for 1.
Yeah, it's a 1 cost. This now is a 3/4 with raid 1. So it's essentially when it attacks, it's a 4/4, and you can play both of them turn 1.
Yep.
That seems pretty good. Like that. This card is going to be amazing in draft. Just as if you're going to play yellow, I think this card is going to be really good in draft. But I overall like it's a nice 1-drop that like this can be played as a 1-drop on your field or in space. You can use either of them. So it's very versatile. Like that's a very versatile card. So I like it.
I mean, having 1 health on a ground unit is not great with like the amount of like just random ping that's in this game, right? Like a Quinlan or a Cad Bane or a Vader or a Palpatine or whatever could just outright kill it. So you kind of want to attach it to a vehicle, which is fine. It'd be kind of interesting in something like Grand Inquisitor Yellow, One of my locals plays like a space base Grand Inquisitor yellow, and if you put it on like a cartel spacer, right, then it becomes a 3/4 with raid 1, so you can use Grand Inquisitor's ability and then hit for 4, which is pretty nice. So
well,
I think it's okay.
For a common, it's good. It's also got the underworld key. So
yeah, but I mean, I guess you can McClunky him the turn that you play him.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Let's not focus on that one.
Yeah. I'm going to go with this absolutely bonkers card called Planetary Bombardment, which is a legendary and a tactic in red. And there's things like Stella Guerrera that can do damage to your base to get out tactic cards.
Yep.
But yes, this one is a 6-cost red event. Deal 8 indirect damage to a player. If you control a capital ship unit, deal 12 indirect damage instead.
So wait a minute. Triple Dark Raid brings Devastator out for 5, or no, 5 for 3, and 3 is 6. So if you have 12 resources, you can do 16 damage.
You can do 25 damage total. I guess.
Could you imagine if Boba Fett was still a thing around? Like being able to re-ready a resource? Like, come on.
But yeah, I mean, this seems kind of silly. Like if you're really good at controlling the board per se, if it's like a Palpatine kind of thing, like we talk about, if they have no units, they eat 8 into their base, or 12, right? Like, that seems pretty solid. Just the 8 damage just across seems really strong.
Yeah,
maybe
6
things
costs.
like Mace Windu might like it if you're really trying to go with something wild. But it seems pretty solid.
Yep, it's a tactic. Boba or Jabba can pull it. Man,
Jabba does tricks. Stella Guerrera can pull it.
Does a tactic.
She pulls tactics, yeah.
Oh, that would be cool if we could get that villain.
I don't think bombing a planet from orbit is too much of a trick play,
Probably not. All right, the next one is called a Fleet Interdictator, is what I'm calling it. I know that's not what it's called.
Interdictor.
It is a 7-cost villain blue 6/6 Sentinel. It's an Imperial capital vehicle. It's pretty good. When defeated, you may defeat a space unit that costs 3 or less. So it's kind of got like that. A little bit of additional things. I think the bigger thing that is good for is because it's a capital ship, right? Like I think that's like it's a 6/6 Sentinel in space. That's a capital ship. Piett can bring this out on 6 resources. So I think
5 resources because he flips on turn 5, right?
All right, fair enough. I'll run 5 resources. So I think the Sentinel piece is the big thing. The when defeated is pretty cool too. Because you have to think about that. That's changing your math. So as you're doing all your maths and all that, this changes it because when you kill this thing, you have to think about what else it can kill. So if you have a leader that's only got 3 health, you don't have to worry about it. But if you got like a Battlefield Marine or a Boba Fett or anything else,
space unit that costs 3 or less.
Oh, it's a space unit.
Yeah, okay, so like their Falcons, their Red 3s, stuff like that,
or the Concordans or anything like that. So yeah,
or you just sneak attack out.
You could do that too
for 6. And then swing in for 6. It's got a Sentinel in space, and then it dies at the end of the turn. Or trigger with your own Palpatine and defeat it if you really want to, or something weird like that if you're really, really trying to do that. And somehow they're still around through a 6/6 Sentinel space unit. I don't know. But it's okay. It's a common.
Yeah,
it's serviceable.
Yeah, it's cool that it's a Sentinel. There you go. That's like everything else is just. Yeah,
it's a big Sentinel.
Yeah, so I think that's the bigger thing that we have to look at. So
yeah, I mean, you probably still run the Gar Saxon Gauntlet over this if you're trying to go for that, but yeah, it's another option, and it's a capital ship, so it works with Piett.
Yes, that's why I'm excited. But anyway, move on. What else do we got?
Speaking of capital ships, so this is a resupply carrier. It is a 6-cost, just green, just neutral green. Yeah. It is a 4/5 Imperial vehicle capital ship. When played, you may put the top card of your deck into play as a resource. It's a resupply.
So tell
Like it says
me,
in the name.
so tell me though, why is there Gazanti on the artwork and a bunch of TIE fighters neutral thing, and it says it's Imperial? Like, this has to be a mistake, right? Like, come on. Like,
I mean, there's like neutral cards that are like Imperial and Rebel. Like the partisan insurgents, right? They're the 1/4 Rebel units.
True.
Or like Callus is a neutral green.
Well, there's a reason behind Callus. So Callus has like an actual logical definition. I don't remember Rebels ever having a Gazanti, but I could be wrong. I'll have to go back and watch the show.
Don't know, but it is a common card, so you can just kind of ramp at 6 or like 5 if you're Piett. But again, anything that comes into play is exhausted unless it says otherwise. So you can't use that resource again. But it is literally just a resupply on a body.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's kind of cool. It gives you the option to not just like, it's like when we play the super laser tech and you're like, oh my gosh, like it's 2/1, so you don't really care. This is like a 4/5, so this has a little bit more game into it than just the other, and it gives you a little bit more late game ramp. So it allows you that next turn to be the extra resource higher. Yeah, I like it. I think it's pretty good for what it is. So
yeah, I think it's really nice to like have Piett out and play the resupply carrier, and next turn play like a relentless.
Yeah, I do too. The next one is a Quasar TIE carrier. I will say I am first disappointed that you only create 1 TIE fighter token on attack, because I don't know, you're probably only getting 2 attacks off, and I can easily see 6 TIEs on that picture. But it is a 6-cost villain only Imperial capital ship. It's a 5/7, so it's got a pretty big butt on it for 6 costs, and it does hit for 5. And on attack, it creates a TIE fighter. So
yeah, I mean it's generic, so like its ability is going to be more generic, right? Like less good than anything that has this particular aspect, but it is another Imperial. It's an energy thing. It is a capital ship. It is a 5/7 for 6, which is a little bit wonk, but I don't know. I guess you get a 1/1 out of it. It's like Shakti, I guess, but less good.
It's okay. Yeah,
it's
fine. It's whatever. So it's another
totally
space vehicle. It's very good in draft. There you go. When I have my Piett deck in draft. All right, what's the next one?
Up next, we have Cassian Andor again, but he's a little bit different this time. He is blue. He's a 3-cost blue hero. He is a 3/4 pilot. No ability when you deploy him on the ground, but when he's a pilot, which is only for 2, by the way, instead of the 3 cost for this, which is kind of crazy. The attached unit gets on attack, discard a card from the defending player's deck. If that card costs 3 or less, draw a card, and he gives it +1/+3. And that's just really solid. It is kind of weird that they're like really trying to push for like hero blue mill or something.
Come on, baby. Yoda milk. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Satine, right? She's in there, but like having a 2-cost seems pretty good, right? Yeah, I mean, like if you have, well, one being like a 3/4 for 3 isn't awful. Like it's not good because you have no ability, but it's not unusable.
Yeah.
So in a pinch, having a ground unit is not bad, but also like piloting for 2 is kind of crazy to me, right? Like you can 3 extra health is pretty substantial. I mean, if you're playing an early game, right? It's like I don't know, you played an arc 170, right? Like the restoring one. So then you can put that on there. Now it's a 3/6 with the restore one, and they dump a card from their deck, and you might draw.
Yep.
It's okay. I mean, I'm sure there's other vehicles that are going to be a lot better, and you probably don't want to play them super early, but I think he's pretty solid, especially for a rare.
I mean, how about this? Why it's even better, though, for 2 costs, right? The thing about this, people are going to have to play power failures and confiscates at this point. Like, we're going to have to play it again. You can put this on there and have somebody burn their confiscate very early, because there's no reason you want a Concord down in space that is a 2/7. Like you don't want that. That attach you back for 5 or 6. You don't want that. Like that's that. Like you want that guy dead, and that's like that's 5 costs for your opponent to be able to play that. I don't know. Like I think this is pretty good. Like the 2 costs is crazy to me, but I think we'll see. Well, I think we'll see more of that coming up in the future. So, well, the next one that I'm going to pick the Banshee. Can't help myself. It is not a capital ship. I gave up the capital ship this time, but it is Asajj's ship, and it has tri-fighters. It has the tri-fighters in it. I'm so excited because of the tri-fighters. I just love me some tri-fighters. That's an X-wing thing. But it is a 5-cost blue villain, 4/5 separatist vehicle. On attack, you may deal damage to a unit equal to the amount of damage on this unit, which fits into Asajj's pilot ability, which we're not going to get into. If you want, you can look that up. But it works with Asajj's pilot ability, and obviously it's her ship. It's designed for that. JJ and I predicted we'd see this the first time they released Asajj. We predicted we'd see this, so we now have it. It is unique too, which is crazy, right? Like you cannot spam this, have it sitting on the board. So thank God for that.
Well, you can get it out for 3 if you have a Dooku and you're playing Dooku leader.
Yeah,
because it is a separatist, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
nice that they're like not solely focusing on like the Rebel Imperial stuff.
Yeah, nope, I like it too. I like that we're getting more separatist keywords. That's cool. That's really cool. All right, what's the next one?
Oh, I'll choose Home 1, right? We're getting another Home 1, but also it's a different color. This keeps happening. It's Devastators, it's Cassians, everything's different now, and I don't like it. So yes, this is Home 1. It costs 9. It is a yellow hero. It is a rebel and a capital ship. It is a 7/8. And if your opponent controls 3 or more space units, this unit costs 3 less to play. And it has ambush.
I wonder who that sounds like it's going to work with.
I mean, that is the ship that Akbar was like commanding, right?
It is.
So, yeah, I mean, like, it is a decent kind of like thing to keep in mind, right? If you're going against Yellow Hero, if you have 3 or more space units and you hit 6 resources, you're just like, they can ambush out a 7/8 right now. Otherwise, for 9, it's kind of a little bit iffy. I mean, the ambush is still really, really nice, and you're probably going to kill something with 7 attack. It's not an Avenger, can't kill that, but the 7 attack helps. The 8 health helps. The ambush is nice, but really it's just like, hey, if your opponent has, you have to keep them honest in space, right? You can't flood space. It seems okay. It really depends on like if we're getting just bonkers space cards, right? And everyone's going to be on space, then Home 1 might be worth it.
Yeah, I think it's okay because it has a 3 cost thing. It obviously works very well with Akbar. I don't know. I'm not as excited for this one as I was for the other one. I think the other one has a little bit more playability. But we will see because I mean the ability to have the 3. I mean them having X-wings out there. By the time you get to your 6 cost resource, I could see it being a thing. I just like. Wouldn't it suck to give your opponents like so? That's going to be 2, 4, 6, and then 6 more is 12. You're giving your opponent 12 free damage if you don't kill their ship. Those X-wing, right? So I don't know. Like, and I guess unless you're just exhausting the X-wing, right?
Yeah, but so you can always exhaust their X-wing for another X-wing.
then okay, there you go. Like that combo seems pretty good. Then all right, I'm on board with that.
It's also another unique unit with the same name for your yellow hunter deck you haven't built yet. Get 2 different Home 1s in there.
I know. Trust me, me and Hunter are bays right now. Like, okay, but if this can come out, let's just say this can come out for 6 resources. This can ambush in and take out. You're not worrying about Avenger because Avenger's not being played on that resource chart. You could play this on the 6 resource and you could take out a Fett's fire spray like that. It's gone, and it lives. So seems pretty good, like in that aspect, but I think it's got limited playability. I
mean, yeah, it seems fine. Like fine.
All right. So the next one is Red Leader Form Up. This is a 4 cost X-wing, obviously. Sorry.
Red Leader was Wedge, right?
It was, yeah.
All right.
Which this doesn't say that on there, so you can 100% just play this with wedge too. Which by the way, I am building a wedge deck.
As you should.
Yeah, just off the gates, I'm already building one too. But this is a 3/4 rebel fighter, so we got more rebel synergy coming. This unit costs 1 less to play for each friendly pilot unit and upgrade. So you could probably play this for free at minimum if you have that. And then it has a subtext that says, when a pilot upgrade attaches to this unit, you get to create a free X-Wing token. So, I mean, that seems pretty good. Like, obviously, it's probably not designed for Wedge, but, like, I don't know. I mean, you could play this stupid 1-cost independent smuggler, and now I have a 4/5 that also can create X-Wing tokens.
No, I'll do you one better.
Okay.
You attach Anakin onto him.
Anakin, stop it. No,
who's
no.
the 2/3. So now it's a 5/7. You swing in, you create an X-Wing token, you pop Anakin back into your hand, put him back on there next turn, and just create more X-Wing tokens. But also, like, it works like Wedge Leader, right? Like Wedge Leader, you're trying to play pilots for 1 less, so it's nice. Like, obviously, a 3/4 for 4 isn't good in space, but like, obviously, you want to, for less. And also, it's kind of cool that, like, even if you do have pilots on the ground, like if you're independent smuggler, you put on the ground, it still counts that because it is a friendly pilot unit and upgrade.
Yes. Yep. I like it. I actually think this is pretty good, especially for an uncommon. I'm pretty sure this will easily make play in almost every deck, every hero deck. So
if you draw all 3 independent smugglers, you can play it on turn 2.
That'd be hilarious. You wouldn't have any cards in your hand, but you sure as fucking play it.
Yeah, why not?
Sounds like put Maz on the ground too. Maz is a 1-cost, like boom, 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 boom.
There
like
you go.
Maz is now like what, a 4? Oh my gosh! All right, let's move on. We're getting bogged down. What one do you want next?
I'll take the Invisible Hand because again, it's another ship. It's a different color. I'm confused. So yeah, we got another Invisible Hand. It is a green black unit this time instead of just a pure black. It is a 6/6 for 6. It is a separatist and capital ship. And there's a lot of text here. So when played / when this unit completes an attack, and in parentheses, they now have to add the and survives because people are really confused with the Ezras and the Boba leaders. So yeah, when played and when it completes an attack and lives, you may search the top 8 cards of your deck for a droid unit, reveal it, and draw it. If it costs 2 or less, you could just play it in for free. And then you put the rest of the cards at the bottom. Yeah, without the reminder text, I'm sure this is a nice, succinct little text box. Otherwise, this one just takes up the entire thing with the reminder text, which is funny.
My belief is this card will be in the OP kits. That's my belief. I have a feeling this will be an OP card.
Do they have OP cards that are rare?
Yes. I think so, yes.
I don't know offhand.
Yeah,
but, yeah, I mean, it seems okay. Like, obviously, if you're running something with a lot of droids, like maybe like a Grievous kind of thing, that will help out a lot. I'm sure there's a couple, like the 3/1 Sentinel guy is a droid that costs 2 or less, so you can just play that in for free, which is kind of cool.
And if you're in red, there's a couple of red droids, and yellow has a couple of yellow droids that are really cheap. I think it's pretty good. In fairness,
worst comes to worst, you're just drawing an extra card when you play it and when it attacks and lives, right? So.
Yeah, it's a 6/6/6, so it works with Mauls. So I don't know, it should go in the Maul deck. No synergy, but got a Maul deck.
Sure.
Sorry. All right, we'll do the Academy Graduate. I hope to God that is a specific person from the Rebel show in that TIE Fighter, but it's probably not. It is a blue only 1/2. It's a Sentinel, so on the ground it's a 1/2 Sentinel for 2 cost. As a pilot, it is also a 2 cost. The attached unit gains Sentinel and adds 1 attack and 2 health. I don't ever see a world any world where you play this on the ground ever in your life. That's just me. Maybe you do. I would never play this as a 1/2. I mean, whatever. I guess
unless you really desperately need to like jump block something, like it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, you could give it a shield with what's his face
with Lando.
If you have one pilot in space, you play this in the ground. Now he gets a shield. It's still not
red
good.
Leader costs one less.
Yeah, and your red leader costs one less. Whatever. It's there. It'll be good in draft.
That's another tool. It's not the worst if you really are desperate need of Sentinels in space. Like it's not bad for 2.
Yeah.
It would be really annoying to like give that to like a Hawk, right? Like the Hawk 290. Now it's a 3/7 Space Sentinel for 5, but it's okay. We'll see. It might be interesting in something like a Grand Inquisitor deck randomly, right? Where because it has 3 extra health and now reaches the threshold where you can swing again.
Yes.
Who knows? Up next is 9Nub. He's in the game now.
He's very frowny. He's a very frowny
guy. So he is a rebel pilot. He costs 1. He's a green hero. When you deploy him on the ground, he's a 1/2, and this unit gets +1 for each other friendly pilot unit and upgrade. So again, kind of really working with Red Leader. And then when you deploy him as a pilot, he only costs 1. And it gets the same ability. You attach unit gets +1 for each other friendly pilot unit upgrade.
And it's a 1/2 in space, so that's pretty good as an attachment.
Yeah, and it seems fine. Again, it's weird that it's more like this is great for Wedge than it is like Lando, but it seems fine. It really kind of depends on like how well pilots are going to be in this game, right? The thresholds of pilots you want to bring compared to the amount of vehicles you have, compared to the amount of ground units you want to do. But yeah, I mean, it seems fine. Putting him in an escort skiff, that'll show him. Now it's a 5/6 for 5. I guess +1 for each other friendly pilot. So who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. I like it. It's like the mods. Like it's it has its use, but I just don't know if it'll be OP or anything. So
yeah.
Well, the last 2 that we have tonight. One, I'll let you do it because you did the thing. So I'll take the Red Squadron Y-Wing, which I'm actually kind of excited to have another Y-Wing. What's that?
It's a disgusting card. Sorry.
Like I kind of like it, like having another Y-Wing. Like I think this feels like the original Y-Wing was supposed to, but this is better. This is like actually how it should have just been written, and the artwork on this is like so good. Like I will collect hyperspace foils of this card. Just hands down right there. But anyway, this is a 2-cost red hero. It's a 1/3 rebel vehicle fighter, and it is on attack, deal 3 indirect damage to the defending player. Very simple. There you go. Like it's better than the other one. So
this is such a crazy. I think this is wild for a vehicle. It's a common, right? Like, and it costs 2.
Yeah,
you're just dealing 3 indirect, so it usually would kill most turn 1 plays you have, right? Unless they're like an R2D2 or C3PO or like one of the senators or something, right? Or it's E3. It is a 1/3 satellite body, and Ray would love this because pump it up and do more damage to things.
Yeah,
scary.
You could pump this up twice with Ray, right? If you don't kill this is a 2/5 with Ray. Like Merry Christmas.
Yeah, like 3 health is kind of annoying to try to do, right? Unless you have like a mercenary gunship or like the silencer or something, right? Hard to take out with Ray. I'll pump it up to a 2/4, deal 3 indirect damage. Like it might not even be too bad in Sabine because either they have to kill their own units or start taking more damage to their base, which is not what you want to do.
This is great in Sabine. This is like you fleet lieutenant this, right?
That one is a rebel. So
and They're
and
taking
leader and all that.
Yep, they're taking 3 damage to base, no questions asked, and then
Or
do you
to
want
their
to take
units, but
you're attacking the base with it. That's what you're doing when you ambush the fleet, or when you bring the fleet lieutenant, and you're going to attack in the base with it, just like you would any of your other ships. Very rarely does the being just go, I'm going to kill somebody else's unit. But then they have to take the extra 3, so it's like a for a cause. Kind of like this is a free for a cause unless they have a bunch of units. So like if they have a bunch of 1-cost units out, I mean, can you imagine this would suck? Maybe go wide droid decks will be a thing or something like that, because then it's like, oh, I'm just going to kill all my droids off that I just created. I don't know.
I mean, it seems really, really good.
Yeah, this seems above curve in my opinion.
Unless you're like, I don't know, going against some dude who's just running a bunch of grit, I guess like that might be bad, but even then, like whatever, just don't play the card. Yeah, it seems really, really, really good.
And it looks amazing too. So.
Especially in Ray. Like Ray is just disgusting.
All right, well, what's our last one, Alex?
Yeah, right. Well, going on a whimper with this one. Okay. So this is Gold Leader, which is the Falcon. But Gold Leader, it is a 6-cost blue hero unit. It is a rebel vehicle transport. It is 5/5 shielded. And while this unit is defending, the attacker gets -1/-0. So it's like its own little electro staff on a shielded 5/5 for 6. I mean, it's nice if you do things like put Lando into it, right? Because then it's now a 10/10 shielded Sentinel, probably double shielded with his ability, then everyone gets -1 when attacking it. Which is cool until they like rivals follow it or whatever, but like,
or power of the dark side, or there's a million other things.
Else that kills leaders. So yeah, I mean, it's we have another 6-cost ship that's a 5/5 shielded unit, and it's called the Ghost, and no one plays it.
Yeah.
Like even in Hera decks, I don't see it played much, because usually there's just better other options for space. But if you force this thing to become a Sentinel, it becomes way more annoying, especially if there's a lot of heavy space. Otherwise, it seems okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's I think we'll have to get some decks together to see how it plays out, to see if it's like amazingly good or just okay.
Like you want it to have Sentinel because 1, it's shielded, and 2, like it's got enough stats, but they get -1 when they're attacking it. But like also a 5/5 for 6, it's not incredible.
No.
Especially when they can just drop a home 1 and just wipe it out.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. There is a possibility that there could be something there that we just don't know about. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll maybe have some fun with it. So, well, all right. That is it for our Galactic Gazette segment for this week. Thank you all for joining us for that segment.